Hello, my dear friends. I hope you're all doing well. Today, I'm here with a complete tutorial jacket. Let's get started and knit this piece together. As for the amount of yarn I used for this jacket, I used 850 grams of this yarn. This is Line brand yarn. It's 100% acrylic, and each 100 grams is 225 meters. The amount of yarn you'll need depends on the length of your yarn, the size of your yarn, and the size of the garment you're making. All of these are approximate, so it's not possible to say exactly how much yarn you'll need for every size, but for the one I made for myself, each 100 grams was 225 meters. The hook I used for this yarn was a 4mm hook. This is how the work looks. I'll also write all these details for you again in the description section. And guys, I always lower the camera angle in my videos for those who are just starting to knit so they can easily make this project. And also I tend to explain things in a lot of detail. My goal is to help beginners be able to knit this piece. The color I chose for it is this gray, which I previously used to make a jacket with African style sleeves. I really like the color, so I decided to use the same color for today's project. Okay guys, this yarn is 100% acrylic. The recommended hook size is 5.5, but since I've made several garments with this yarn, in my experience, the best hook sizes for these types of stitches are 4 and 4.5. Of course, you can choose any yarn and the appropriate hook size for it. I usually choose my hook this way. For some projects like today's, I prefer to place the yarns side by side like this so you can see their thickness, guys. This thickness matches the end of the 4.5, but since I want my work to be a bit firmer, I chose the 4. This is for those weaves that have a wheat-like texture. I prefer my work to be a bit firmer rather than loose, and that's it for the yarn. Each 100 grams of this yarn is 225 meters, guys. I'll write everything you need in the description section, including how much yarn is used, and I'll also tell you the measurements right here. If you want to make this, I'll tell you the measurements for each size and how to crochet it. So to start, first we make a chain as long as we want our vest to be. The length I've chosen is 66 centimeters, so I want to make a chain that's 66 centimeters long. First we make a knot like this and I place it in a crisscross shape, then insert the hook here. I yarn over and pull it through, grab this and pull it tight. This becomes the first knot of the work. Now I make a chain as long as 66 centimeters. And guys, one more thing. I make the initial chains with a 4.5mm hook, but I crochet the main body with a 4mm hook. This way the starting edge won't bunch up. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th. Alright guys, I'm chaining to the length of the jacket, which for me is 60 centimeters, so I made 110 chains. I'm also switching my hook to size 4. Now in the second chain I want to start crocheting. Our stitch is a half double crochet but with one step less. That means I yarn over, insert the hook into the second chain, yarn over and pull through. Guys, we can work into the third loop for a neater finish. Each chain has 3 loops, 2 loops, the wheat-like ones you see in front, and the third loop is at the back when you turn the work over. That's the third loop. So in the second chain, in the third loop at the back, I insert the hook, yarn over, pull through. Now there are 3 loops on the hook. I yarn over and pull through 2 loops. This is our modified half double crochet, meaning we don't complete it fully. Yarn over again, go into the 3rd loop of the next chain, insert the hook, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through 2. Again, yarn over for the next one. Guys, don't crochet too tightly. Keep your yarn tension medium. I was crocheting too tightly myself, so I'm reminding both myself and you. Continue like this to the end of the row, always working into the 3rd loop of the chains for this stitch. The chains I made with the 4.5mm hook turned out really tight, almost like I was stressed, but with the 4mm hook it's a bit looser. Now I make 1 chain and move on to the 2nd row. For the 2nd row, we just repeat the same stitch, but this time we only work into the back loop. It's the same stitch, but in the back loop, let me show you how to insert the hook. The stitch has 2 loops here, as you can see, 1 here and 1 here, right in front of you. The back loop is the one we're working into. The 3rd loop we're not dealing with in this tutorial. So 1, 2, these 2 wheat-like loops you see here, we're going into the back loop, which is called the back loop. I insert the hook, yarn over, pull it through, and then pull the yarn through both loops on the hook. Then I go into the next stitch, again into the back loop, and repeat. Continue like this to the end of the row. Kids, look, this is the back side of the half double crochet. The half double crochet in this stitch is pulled out like this, but this one comes out from right here. It's similar to a slip stitch, but you yarn over once. Continue working into the back loop like this until the end of the row. I'll finish the row and come back. I've finished the row, and now I want to move on to the next row. Kids, just for those of you who are new to crochet, make sure to put a marker at the beginning and end of your work, because you might accidentally add or skip stitches and your work could end up slanted. So if you're not yet familiar with all the stitches and can't tell which is the first or last stitch, or just to be safe, put a marker at the beginning and end. I'll show you how to use the marker. For the last stitch, after making a simple chain and moving to the next row, remember you don't crochet into the chain itself. Go into the first stitch, into the back loop, and make your stitch like this. If you might get confused and accidentally crochet into the next stitch as well, definitely put the marker in here like this so you can identify the last stitch. This way your work won't go crooked. So kids, we crochet the back piece in the same way with this same stitch. The stitch is repeated in every row, always in the back loop. This stitch is similar to the half double crochet, but it's 1 step shorter. I'm not sure what to call it exactly. Well, we can call it a slip stitch with yarn over. You yarn over, then make a slip stitch. This is a type of slip stitch or shillelagh where you just yarn over onto the hook. So this is how we make the slip stitch, kids. But this one is a slip stitch with yarn over done like this. Slip stitch with yarn over. I yarn over onto the hook, then make a slip stitch. For the slip stitch, you insert the hook into this space, pull up a loop, and that's what we call a slip stitch with yarn over. This is how we work it. We crochet back and forth, and the back piece is worked as a rectangle. Once I finish and come back, I'll tell you what my measurements were, and I'll also let you know what measurements you might want to use, depending on your preference. Alright guys, we continue crocheting the piece in the same way. I'll keep working on it and come back to you. All right, friends, I've finished crocheting the back piece completely. But before we start on the front piece, I need to explain something to you on paper. I'll show you how we're going to shape the front piece and how to determine the neckline measurement. Please make sure to watch the explanation I'll post for you after this video. I really ask you to watch these instructions. If I'm speaking slowly or the video speed is low, you can increase the playback speed in the settings, but definitely listen so you can figure out how to make the neckline and understand what we're going to crochet. It'll be easier to visualize in your mind. So the back piece is just a straight line, basically a rectangle. Our work is crocheted vertically, guys. Let me grab a sample to show you. Okay, imagine we want to measure it. The number of chains we make is determined like this. I place the measuring tape here on top of the shoulder, from the top side down to the desired length, however long I want it to go below the hips. For example, here it's 60 centimeters. So the length of the piece, let's say for myself, I'll take 60 centimeters. Imagine the length is 60 centimeters. I want to make a chain as long as 60 centimeters, and the work is crocheted vertically for the back piece, just like this, up to where? Up to this measurement. And what does this measurement represent? The hip circumference, or the bust, or the waist, or whichever is the most prominent and largest part of the torso. Some people might have a larger stomach or hips, but still it's the most prominent part of the torso. We place the measuring tape there and measure. For example, here it's 90 centimeters. Let's say for me it's 90. I'll write here hip circumference, or the most prominent part of the torso, 90 centimeters. Now you should take these same measurements for yourself and follow along with me. I'm going slowly so you can understand. Now I divide it by 2, which gives us 45. So this measurement is 45. But this 45 is when there's no ease at all. The fit is tight because we measured our hip or bust circumference exactly with no extra room. Here we add some ease. The amount of ease you want to add to your project you divide by 2, because half goes to the back piece and half to the front piece. For example, the ease I want to add is 15 centimeters, so in total I'll have 30 centimeters of ease, making my garment an oversized piece. And let me mention here, kids, that oversized and free size are not the same. Some people ask if oversized and free size are the same. They're not. Free size means when I teach a garment, free size fits a small to medium size, but oversized means what? If my size is small, this is oversized for me, meaning the piece I wear will be very loose on me. That's what oversized means. And so the one I'm making now has 15 centimeters of ease. Someone who wears a medium or even a large could wear it, though it might be a snug fit for them, but for me, since it's bigger than my size, I have 30 centimeters of ease inside. That's what makes it oversized. If your size is larger, large or extra large, and you want the same amount of ease as the piece you see on me at the beginning of the video, what should you do? The measurement I mentioned for the shoulder width, as I said, first you make a chain, and for the hip circumference, you do the same calculation. Measure your hip, or the most prominent part of your body, divide it by 2, and then add 15 to the result if you want your oversized fit to be like mine. And if your size is large, you'll have 30 centimeters of ease, meaning what you see on me will be just as oversized for you. For me, it came out to 60, so up to this point, I've crocheted 60 centimeters. This will be the back piece. Once the back piece is ready, okay kids, here's the back piece. Now I want to mark the neckline. To mark the neckline, we take a measuring tape and wrap it around our neck like this. I don't want my neckline to be that tight. I want it a bit looser, so I added 2 centimeters of ease. I'm not sure exactly how loose I want it, but when I put the tape snugly around my neck, it's 32 centimeters, but the measurement I have in mind is 40 centimeters, which means my neckline has about 3 fingers worth of ease. You could make it 38 or 40 centimeters since there's also an open line here. If you want your neckline to be wider, you can leave 2 fingers space between the tape and your neck, or For example, you can place 1 or 2 fingers between the tape and your neck. For myself, I left 2 or 3 fingers, so it's quite roomy. So I measure around my neck, and with the ease I just added with my fingers, it comes to 40 centimeters. So I divide 40 centimeters by 2, which is 20 centimeters. Kids, this part is very important, so please don't skip the video and listen carefully, because you need to do these calculations first to make this garment correctly. So this 20 centimeters is the neckline for the back piece. Now if from here to here, for me, half of the widest part of my hips plus the ease was 60 centimeters, what do? I take the number I have here and subtract half the neck circumference, which I just calculated. So 60 centimeters minus 20 centimeters is 40 centimeters. Now what is this 40 centimeters? This 40 centimeters is what remains after I subtract the neckline, which is 20 centimeters from this space. So the 40 centimeters is this area and the area at point B. So what does that mean? So we divide the 40 centimeters by 2, which gives us 20 centimeters. Now this point here becomes 20 centimeters. Kids, this will be different for everyone. So they say, depending on your size, do these divisions accordingly so your numbers come out accurately. Okay, now for the back piece, we've come to the neckline and we're going to mark these on the fabric, on the canvas, and I'll also explain how to do it on a knitted jacket. So we put markers here, I put a marker here and another one here. I'm telling you the measurements in centimeters, but we also count by rows. In addition to centimeters, you also need to count the rows. Okay, once again, I need to redraw the back piece here for you so it doesn't get too cluttered. So this is the back piece again. First, we need to get the exact measurements of the back piece so we can easily prepare the front piece. Okay, let's set a point here, point C, point D. Kids, we put a marker here and another marker here. Now, I don't need to worry about the area in between since we've already marked the top. Okay, kids, now for the center of the neckline, I'm going to use a shirt that has a similar neckline so you can see. Kids, take a look. Our collar is still a bit different from this, kids. The collar is different from this. What I have is also different. I just want to show you. So here it is, kids. Look at this part. I want it to be 4 centimeters for me, but you can make it however you like. For example, look, for this dress, it turned out to be 2 centimeters. So in the middle, the collar that we marked is here. For me, it's 4 centimeters, okay? This line was 20 centimeters for me. Now I subtract 4 centimeters from 20 centimeters because this is going to be the overlap. These two parts overlap and only 4 centimeters of space is taken up. So for me, it becomes 16 centimeters. Now, what is this 16 centimeters? This is 16 centimeters. When we mark out that 4 centimeters in the middle, it becomes this much here and this much here, and the middle part is 4 centimeters. So we put one marker here, one here, one here, and one here. Now that these are marked, let's move on to the front part. Guys, that piece I said was 4 centimeters. I saw that 4 centimeters is too much, and in the end, I reduced it to 3 centimeters for the front slit of our work. But since I already recorded the video here, it's 4 centimeters. But you should consider it as 3 centimeters. Okay, for the front part, again, if you need to count the number of chains, count them. The number of chains we started with for the back piece, we use the same number for the front. And we crochet the work to the length of this line, which for me is 20 centimeters. So I crochet 20 centimeters straight. This is my 20 centimeters. I brought it here, okay? After crocheting 20 centimeters here, guys, I'll show you all of this on the actual work. This is just to make it easier and to show what we're doing. Then we mark this space from here to here. This distance now is 3 to 4 centimeters, whatever I told you. It's up to you, meaning we don't crochet it. And when we want to start crocheting from here, we measure 8 centimeters from here, point 30. Every row, back and forth, we decrease in this section until it reaches a full 8 centimeters. So it turns out like this. After the 8 centimeters are done, we have this part again. Guys, we also mark the bottom side here, and this part is not crocheted. Again here, we crochet 4 centimeters. After crocheting, it looks like this, Okay,
After crocheting, guys, again the part we left here and didn't crochet, we add chains here and crochet them, and this 8 centimeter section where we had decreases, here we have increases, and after we reach here, this 3 to 4 centimeters that we didn't crochet, we add chains here again, and the added chains are crocheted straight without any increases or decreases to the length of point B, which for me is 20 centimeters. So our shape turns out like this. Guys, now the front piece looks like this for me. Let me draw the small version, and this is its slit.
Guys, look, this becomes level 1, and the rest of the work I'll explain those later. Now let's go to the actual piece and I'll show you. Very well, guys, I counted from here to here and placed a marker at row 37. I also counted from here to here and placed a marker at row 37. In between, for me, it comes out to about 33 rows, 32 or 33 rows. I'm not exactly sure if I knitted exactly 37 rows, but it's 20 centimeters. Now we need to divide this middle section of the neckline as well, and I've explained all of it to you on paper. The pink marker I placed in the middle is for the slit I want to create in the center of the piece. For me, that's 6 rows. I think I counted it as 8 rows, but later I'll make it 6 rows. We'll put a marker for the 6 center rows. From one side to the other, it's 13 rows, and from here to here is also 13 rows. Now you'll crochet the front piece to match the length of the back piece, chaining and crocheting until you reach the blue marker. For me, that's 37 rows. I crocheted up to row 37, and at row 38, I'll come back and we'll continue the work together. Well, everyone, some people have indeed told me that I tend to talk quite a bit when I am teaching, but honestly, I just truly can't help it. I absolutely have to say these important things. If I don't, then someone might very well run into a significant problem later on. I always explain things in a comprehensive way that even if someone is just starting to knit, at the very least they can do their work much more easily. That's precisely why I have to talk a lot to explain all these details. My sincere apologies if some of you don't particularly like it when I talk a lot. Anyway, now that the back piece is completely ready, we've meticulously prepared the front piece in precisely the same way I previously mentioned, carefully knitting it to the exact same point and line. For me, it's also exactly 37 rows. I have carefully measured it, and as I said, I have indeed knitted 37 rows. Now, my dear friends, when I get to the 38th row, I want to go down approximately 3 to 4 centimeters. Let's say, for instance, 3 centimeters, or perhaps even 3.5. Look closely, everyone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm now carefully putting a marker on the 8th one. Okay, not the big one, the 8th one. Which one is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. How many centimeters is that? It comes out to 4 centimeters, kids. Okay, I've placed the marker 4 centimeters ahead, and my row, which is row 38, I've knitted up to here now, right up to where the marker was. If I put this marker here, kids, it might come out now, okay? I've knitted up to here. From this row on, we'll start decreasing. When I get to the last 2 stitches, I'll knit them together. Okay guys, look, for the last 2 stitches, I'm going to knit them together like this. I yarn over, insert the hook into the front loop, pull the yarn through, yarn over again, insert the hook into the next stitch, but I'm always working into the back loop, pull the yarn through. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on the hook. I pull the first loop through the other 4. Like this, I will now make a chain. This is our very first decrease row. I will make a chain and then carefully turn the work. Now I have another decrease to perform. I'm going to decrease the first 2 stitches together, right here.